Welcome to my SLIS 702 Technical Services presentation. I'm Maggie Kelly, and today I'll be outlining a step-by-step tutorial on how to transform your school library by throwing out the Dewey Decimal System and genre-fying your collection. Since this is a tutorial, I won't get into the pros and cons of the Dewey Decimal System versus genre-fying. I'll assume you've done your research, had the plan approved by administration, and you're ready to jump in. However, if you're still on the fence, I've attached some references at the end that have been helpful to me in deciding that genre-fying my school library is the best decision. This tutorial focuses on the technical services aspect of genreification, the cataloging and physical processing of potentially thousands of books in your collection. Before beginning, a thorough weeding of the collection must be done. This not only frees up space, but keeps you from moving books unnecessarily. Once genreification is complete, you'll be able to clearly see places where your collection is lacking and new selections need to be made. The first step is to determine your fiction genres and nonfiction topics. Although most school libraries have the same basic genres and topics, you'll want to think about your library and special areas that you'd like to include. For picture books, the topics can be somewhat different. You may want to have a special section for popular authors like Dr. Seuss and Mo Willems, areas that kids ask for by name, to make it easy for children to locate books on their own without asking, "Where are your Dr. Seuss books?" These are not exhaustive lists, just enough to get you started. Decide on a system you want to use. You want to think of this in terms of fiction, nonfiction, and picture books. Let's look at fiction first. There are two options here. As you see on the left, these color-coded protector labels adhere over the existing labels to identify the genre. Depending on the number of categories you've decided upon, you'll know how many different colors you need. Another way is to label them using tags that specifically say the genre or topic. In the example on the right, the books have a red tag that says realistic fiction. Both of these types of labels are readily available from merchants like Follett, Demco, and Amazon. One common way to organize your collection is by using color-coded labels for fiction genres and image-coded labels for nonfiction. With today's vivid color printers, labels of all shapes and sizes, and open-use graphics and images available on the web, it's fairly easy to create your own custom library labels. Teachers Pay Teachers is another option for fun and creative labels. Tiffany Whitehead, also known as the Mighty Little Librarian, provides her labels free of charge through Flickr. Another key element in helping users navigate your new system is clear and consistent signage. Let's not forget the reasons why we're genre-fying in the first place, to help users become independent, self-directed learners. Students need to be able to scan the library signage and determine where they will find the books they're looking for. This is similar to keyword searching online. If they need information about animals, they search by the keyword animals. If they need a book in the library about animals, they search for the sign that says animals. Without good signage, the time and energy you put into this task will be for nothing. They'll still ask, "Where are your animal books?" Thinking about signage early on in the process will help you determine the materials you need to make the signs, as well as the location they will need to be placed. You'll be rearranging almost everything in the library, so if I haven't said it before, this is gonna get crazy. Step 3 is to consider your library layout and where everything will go. Placement of genres will depend on your individual needs. Space, shelving, and high traffic areas need to be considered. Popular and large volume genres, such as realistic fiction, should be placed in larger, open access areas to prevent traffic jams, and students waiting behind other students. Begin mapping out your design to include all genres, nonfiction topics, and picture book sections. Designate the areas that will become the new home for each genre. Judging shelf space based on the current volume, but allowing space for your collection to grow. Avoid overcrowding shelves. This makes it difficult for students to browse the books and difficult to reshelve returns. Place temporary signage to give yourself and volunteers a map for moving the books. Step 4. Make a detailed plan for moving books. Then enlist volunteers to help. Assign a volunteer to each section. Each book must be analyzed to determine its genre or topic and where it will be relocated. Use carts, rolling bins, and as much muscle power as you can round up. This is by far the most exhausting, time-consuming, and messy part of reorganizing your library. Your volunteers aren't quite done yet. Keep them around a little while longer. Now that every book has a new home, give them their shiny new label. While volunteers are working on labels, you can proceed to the next very important step, cataloging. For this tutorial, I will briefly explain the process for Follett Destiny. These same but more detailed instructions from Follett are linked at the end. There are other ways to go about this process, but this is recommended by Follett to ensure consistent records across schools in your district, yet allow individuality among schools. In other words, we don't all have to genre-fy. But if we are, this is the best way to avoid messing up everyone else's catalogs. Before you start, you'll need a laptop and a handheld scanner. But put these on a rolling cart so you can travel easily around to each section. I'll begin with realistic fiction. On the laptop, open a new notepad document. Open the library catalog to check in. Then scan each book in the realistic fiction section. The barcodes will automatically be populated in the notepad document to create a list. Then save the document to your computer or flash drive as realistic fiction. We're going to be creating two fields in the record. One shows the category and the other is the location. In Destiny, this can easily be done from the main administrator screen. Choose Catalog. Choose Copy Categories. Beside Add Copy Category, type Realistic Fiction. Deselect Restricted and click Save. Repeat the same process to add a copy category for each genre in your collection. Whether you scan them or not, it will save you a step down the road. Next, you will choose all the titles you want to have these copy categories, using the notepad document of barcodes you previously created. Search the system for the first copy category. In this example, realistic fiction. Destiny will prompt you with a plus symbol for you to add titles to that category. Select the notepad file saved to your computer called realistic fiction to assign that entire list to the category, realistic fiction, and they will all be done at one time. Now that we have the field created, next you must create a sublocation field so that the genre name appears on the search results page. First, choose any realistic fiction title from your collection. Do a basic search for it in the system. Click Edit Title. In Sublocation, click Other, then type Realistic Fiction. Now the system knows that the sublocation Realistic Fiction exists. This may seem redundant to have realistic fiction twice. However, when we get to nonfiction, you'll have subtopics. For example, animal books are further split into categories such as pets, big cats, aquatic, etc. The certain book about taking care of pets will have a category of animals and a sublocation of pets. For fiction books at this time, both the category and location will be the same genre. Later, you may decide to subdivide some or all of your fiction books to say realistic fiction, then sports, or realistic fiction, then family. But I won't go into that anymore right now. Next, we need to update all copies by performing a global update. In a global update, the system can be prompted to assign all titles with a category of realistic fiction to have a sublocation of realistic fiction. Use the drop-down menus to select realistic fiction for both with and make fields. Click Update Copies. Now every title in the category realistic fiction has a sublocation of realistic fiction, and users can easily see the area in which the book is located. Repeat the process of scanning a section of books and saving them as a notepad document titled by their genre. Then choose a book from that genre, edit its sublocation to reflect its genre. Then perform a universal update to assign each title in that category with the matching sublocation. And that's it. Your library has been genre-fied, just in time for students to return.